on holiday last week, so I wasn't going to record from there. So I did intend to do it yesterday, but obviously the first day back from holiday is always quite busy, therefore we've got it today on Tuesday. As always, what we're going to do, we're going to look to see if there's been any news over the last 2 weeks. I've got a couple of updates myself as well from Redplane and from Apollo, and then we'll go through, have a look at the message center situation, so any current incidents or any incidents that have been closed over the last 2 weeks, and then we'll go into the roadmap and we'll see what's changed there. So we'll look at what's new items have launched over the last 2 weeks. We'll look at what new items are rolling out and what new items have gone into development. There's not an awful lot of content this week, so hopefully it shouldn't take too long. So I don't think we'll be more than half an hour today, but thank you for joining me. So let's get straight on. Okay, so the first thing I want to look at is actually just some updates and notices from Redplane. As I was looking yesterday from coming back from holiday, there's not actually been a lot of changes and announcements from the Microsoft 365 blog, and also no new major announcements from Flow and PowerApp. So it's been a bit of a quiet couple of weeks, so I'm expecting that to ramp up a little bit as time goes on. But I just want to call out at Redplane, what we're doing now is we're working quite hard to actually launch a number of Power Apps that you can go in and buy. So our first two are available in there. So you can actually look at our Canteen menu Power App, and you can also look at the Attendee information one. So the Canteen menu Power App, at the moment it's very heavily discounted. We're following a policy of releasing all these Power Apps very, very cheaply, in these cases free for a number of days for you to download, and then we progressively increase the price up until they hit the full price. So we want to give lots of people the ability to download these, give some feedback, make some savings. So if you're getting quick, then you can get these really quite cheap. It's been interesting that I don't think people trust free, but I think as the price is going up, we're getting a lot more interested in. So we have the Canteen menu there that just shows items from a Canteen menu over the week, and then users can actually go and order their items. We can have a quick look. So go in here so we can see Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday's items, and I can just these dishes as well. These items just go straight into SharePoint, so people in the kitchens then know how many items of each dish that they need to order. Likewise, we also have the attendee information one. So anyone who goes out to conferences or SharePoint Saturdays or anything like that, this is a really nice way of actually going in and actually collecting and delegate information. So if you're thinking about being GDPR compliant, then we need to think about how we get users' actual consent. So this little Power App, stick it on a tablet on your stand, and you can go and collect users' information. So let me just watch while we're on here. Stop it all the time. So we're just going to collect user information. Users have to specifically choose whether they want to receive email, this obviously they can finger type it as well. So a little box as well about how we use our data. So if you want to show people the policy information, so we can ensure that people have seen that. They have to agree to the privacy policy as well, and then we're going to sign up, and that will just send their details straight back to SharePoint for either for Microsoft Flow to pick it up, put it into your mailing list, or for and do. So a couple of really cool apps there. We've got a lot more in the pipeline as well. So please do go and take a look at those and let me know what you think. So that's what we've been working on lately and what we're doing a lot of. Also, if you want to come to us, if you want us to build your Power Apps for your Microsoft Flows, then please get in touch with me, mark.stokes@redplane.co.uk. And we're taking on a lot of Power Apps and Flow projects now, so if you are struggling to get them built, let us know. We're finding a lot more value in building Power Apps than traditional development projects, so much smaller projects, much cheaper projects. And we get a lot of rapid results, so they're proving really good. So we are open for business. If you want to get us to build these for you, then please go ahead and get in touch. Now, obviously, people who have seen this before, my whole Redplane Insider portal here that I use for these sessions is built with Power Apps as well. So we can do quite a lot with the technologies. Okay, so jumping into the substance of today, let's go and look at what message center items that we currently have. So at the moment in my tenant, yours may differ because there's lots of different batches of tenants across the platform. So in my tenant, I've got 4 current issues going on at the moment. So we may or may not see these as well. Now this first one is actually a false positive, so it's something that's been reported but actually is not a real issue, so something else must have been going on. But some users apparently have some issues with admins being unable to access or make changes within the Exchange control panel. That's a false positive, so hopefully that's not actually an issue. Retention policy not working for Skype for Business messages and inbox. So some users have seen their Skype for Business messages not routing to the correct folder per the retention policy. Admins can't manage migrations through the graphical user interface in the Exchange Admin Center. So if you are working on some Exchange migrations at the moment, you may see some issues there. That's been going on since the 17th, so we're a few days into this one, so quite an issue. And lastly, can't play back videos. So at the moment, some users are unable to play Microsoft Stream videos that are embedded in PowerPoint OneNote. So you may be receiving support calls from that. That's been going on since about 1 AM this morning. Okay, so 16 items were closed over the last 2 weeks. So let's see what has been an issue and now resolved, just in case you may have seen them over the last 2 weeks and platform issues. Not things that you're doing wrong. So what do we have? So unable to access quarantine section. We've got quite a lot of items around this topic. So see these as we go on. I think Microsoft's doing back under the there. So admins may have been unable to access the quarantine section within the Security and Compliance Center. That went on for a few hours on the 10th September. Unable to access the admin portal. So again on the 10th, admins may have been unable to access the admin portal. Can't download media in Skype for Business. This was a false positive again, so you may or may not have seen this issue, but apparently it wasn't actually an issue. Users have been unable to download media attached to Skype for Business. Custom code failing, so admins may be noticing the custom code relating to Yammer may be failing, so it looks like there's some issues with the Yammer APIs there. About 4 hours, about 2 hours maybe. 10th, unable to access the admin portal. So again on the 10th September, must have been a big update day. Admins may have been intermittently unable to access the portal. On the 11th, for half a day, users may have observed that emails with Microsoft Word documents attachments were incorrectly being quarantined. Can't manage automatic replies with the Microsoft 365 Admin Center, so out of office replies, admins may manage those. Unable to access Security and Compliance Center, that was again about 2 hours. 16th. Can't access email through Outlook on the web, so users may have been unable to access Exchange Online Mail through Outlook on the web. That was on the 16th, again for an hour. Can't sync or connect using Outlook desktop client. This is the 13th or 17th, so users may have been unable to sync or connect to Gmail when using Outlook desktop client. Again, it sounds like there's been a lot of work on Exchange Online going on. Delayed admin snapshot reports for data freshness issue for Yammer snapshot reports. They've been delayed. 28th of August to the 17th, so that's quite a long running. Some problems with the Graph API. So users may have experienced intermittent failures with workflows and other solutions built on the Graph API for messaging. Now, this is a bit of a double-edged sword. Microsoft's putting pretty much everything they can into the Graph API, making that the single doorway to all of your business and information. However, that puts a lot of reliance on that Graph API maintaining availability. So if you are putting all your eggs in one basket and accessing all your content through the Graph API, just beware that if that element becomes unavailable, then a lot of your functionality may stop working. So hopefully Microsoft makes sure that's a super solid and robust technology. Or you may need to think about some backups. And with cloud, as with any cloud, you are relying on somebody else's computer that you have no ability to affect or repair is. Also close items, so identity verification prompt in OneDrive for business files. So users were receiving additional prompts to verify their identity when opening files in OneDrive Business. To be honest, I just get used to logging in over and over and over. Identity verification prompt in SharePoint Online. So again, users receiving prompts opening files in SharePoint Online. So probably actually a related issue. Can't utilize voicemail, subscriber access numbers, and unified messaging attendant. Again, exchange online on the 9th to the 21st of September, so quite a long run there. Can't create or edit call queues. So for Microsoft Teams, for 3 days there, admins may have been unable to create or edit call queues through the Teams. So if you saw that issue, again, you know that it was a problem platform. So not too many there. So a few issues. Again, it looks like Exchange has been having some work under them. So we've had no cancelled items over the last 2 weeks from the roadmap. So let's go and have a look at 15 new items that have entered the launch category over the last weeks. So Microsoft Teams phone system updates for GCC has gone live. Auto investigation with threat playbooks has gone live, and so auto investigation capabilities for threats will be available in Office 365 E5. Also, there will be key threat playbooks available at this time also. Ability to trigger automated investigations using playbooks from the Threat Explorer, which will go live, have now gone live. Microsoft Teams for first line workers, we now have the ability to import a schedule into shifts. So if you have a large shift pattern that you want to import in, rather than doing that manually, we have the ability to import that process a lot easier. Ability to create custom fish alerts for customers with Office 365 ATP P1. Synchronous URL destination in Office 365 ATP. So at the moment, when users are protected by Office 365 ATP safe links policy, users may get a notification that the link is being scanned, and that can sometimes be a little bit concerning to users, and they used to seeing that pop up. So there's now the ability to actually have those links scanned before the email is delivered to the user, and then it can be routed to the junk mail folder if it's deemed suspicious. Hopefully that just makes user experience a little bit more pleasant and scary. There's automated instant response in Office 365 ATP. So they've now added new automation capabilities that will help security operations teams investigate and remediate attacks in an effective and efficient way. Outlook for iOS app configuration support without enrollment. So now this is an interesting one, especially with organisations using Bring Your Own Device. But admins can actually manage some general app configuration in Outlook for iOS without that device having to be enrolled in the Intune. Like I say, that's going to be really useful for people who want some semblance of control. Bring Your Own Device scenario. Same thing for Outlook for Android. Outlook for iOS, create a new account, so you'll be able to create a new Outlook.com account directly from the mobile app. Outlook for iOS now has dark mode, so does Outlook for Android. Outlook on the web is getting new search suggestions, so when you use the search box on Outlook for the web, then there'll be a lot more suggestions that come in around emails and files. Hopefully that search experience is powerful. Interesting that last time we did this, we had a couple of issues of search being unavailable on these platforms, so I imagine that's rolling out these updates. Admin Center support is getting a lot of updates as well, so the whole support page, I was hoping to show you this, but I don't have any support incidents to show, but the Admin Center support updates is getting an overhaul, so you'll see a lot more details here. A full page ticket history, resolution steps, having callback scheduling information, case history export, etc. etc. A lot of changes there. Microsoft Teams is getting per team across team analytics. Again, this is one I was going to show you, but unfortunately it just shows a bit too much personal information. My teams and my customers, but this is going to show you some analytics on how users are using your Microsoft Teams. So on a per team basis or across all your teams, you can see which teams are most active, which teams are less active. And that's actually really useful. I've been playing around with this a little bit. You have to go to the Manage Teams area. That can be a little hard to find if you're not sure where to go. On the Teams for the web experience, it's down in the left-hand corner. You click the little settings cog, and then Manage Teams excuse me, is available from the area there. You get a nice little graph just showing how many users are accessing the team over a recent period, just to get an idea of which ones are popular and be really useful for people who want to maybe decommission or remove teams that are no longer in use, or maybe put some effort into the highly used. Okay, so native connectors to third-party data for archiving. So now connect and import third-party data such as social media and other business data like Bloomberg for archiving and discovery purposes. That's it. So that's all the items, all the new items that have launched over the last week. So let's have a look at what's currently rolling out. Now remember, as usual, this isn't all of the items in the rolling out category. These are all of the new items that have entered this category over the last 2 weeks. So we have enhanced submission experience of suspicious content and quarantine improvements. So we've seen this a couple of times over recent episodes, and this is where users can actually report suspicious content to Microsoft. This is something that we should be doing as good citizens, because if we report this, Microsoft and their machine learning models can more accurately detect suspicious content going forward. Azure Active Directory is getting a global reader role. So this is a read-only counterpart to the global admin. So where global admin allows a individual user to change anything in the tenant, global reader is just going to let a user read any properties and settings in the tenant, but not actually make changes. This could be good for reviews and checks and things like that, but we don't actually want changes. Create users with templates in Microsoft 365 Admin Center. We've seen this one before through in development. So now what we can do is we can actually template a user, maybe by their job role, maybe by their location, etc. And based on that template, we can create new users, so we don't have to fill out addresses, scratch. So I think that would be really useful for people to create and users en masse, well, large organizations, maybe even people who are automated. So Outlook for iOS, S-MIME support is coming. Outlook for Android, updated search experience on a larger screen. So if you're running a larger Android tablet, then you'll get a larger search experience. Be useful. Outlook for iOS, move messages to suggested folders. So Outlook for iOS will start to suggest folders to you that you might your messages to. I think my Outlook would basically be in the please reply as soon as possible folder that gets suggested. Outlook for iOS, discover Office files. So the files experience in Outlook for iPhones, iPads will get some more suggestions and better suggestions of files that you might be interested on based on who you are collaborating with. Power of expanding your organization's transparency and control over Microsoft 365 cloud-connected experiences for Office to additional platforms. So, in the Office 365 Pro Plus 1904 update for Windows, Microsoft allowed you to better determine the level of diagnostic information you send to Microsoft. Okay? So those options are now coming to Mac, iOS, and Android as well. So again, you have more control over what information you send back to Microsoft there. That their telematic. Oh, their telematic. Outlook for iOS, LinkedIn, and Microsoft 365 account connections. So in Outlook for iOS, you can connect our LinkedIn accounts, the information from profiles directly in the people card in Outlook. I haven't seen this yet. I'm quite interested to see this happen. I'll hopefully report back on that. There are all the new items that are rolling out. So some of you may see those items already. Some of them may take up to 3 months to show up in tenants. So with Microsoft, we'll get them rolled Okay, so 30 new items have gone into development category. So let's have a quick look at that. Microsoft is now working on an updated SharePoint start page experience. So I think I've heard a lot of love for the SharePoint start page. I think it's proving quite useful for a lot of people, but it's getting a UX refresh. So there's a lot of new experiences going into that start page. So hopefully that's going to bring together much more content for you to find relevant information going into. Introducing the reimagined Microsoft Project. So it sounds like Project is getting a complete overhaul. For me, I've not used Project for a long time. It feels a bit more of a, dare I say, old-fashioned project management waterfall lifecycle when everyone's like Kanban boards and agile methodologies these days. So Microsoft Project is getting a major overhaul. Hopefully bring some more go forward. So we have the addition of new file types to the default block list. So if you are using default block list from Outlook Web, then file types there. Enhancements to Office 365 quarantine notifications and alerts. So basically just changing the alerts that are being shown so they conform to the Microsoft. So I think it's just basically about providing more consistency of the so you get across. Safe links protection is coming into Microsoft Teams. Again, Microsoft's putting quite a lot of effort into this now. So in Microsoft Teams, Microsoft will be scanning links shared by Teams to make sure that they're safe. Phishing and malware. Outlook on the web is getting new search suggestions. So again, the search experience has been overhauled here, so we're relevant files from the box. Service Communications API is going into general availability. Microsoft Teams is getting the ability to pin channels. This is something that's going to be very useful. So the way we organize our Microsoft Teams is we have a team for each customer and their channel per project. So actually the ability for me to now pin projects, my favorites, items at the top of my screen is going to be very useful rather than just pinning whole customers who may have a lot of projects. So, I think this will be really useful, especially when we come into things like channel permissions. Safe links for Office Online. Again, we're talking about safe links. That's been expanded out to Office clients on Windows, Mac, and Android. Again, Microsoft will scan those links for you. Safe. The feature will be on by default. Microsoft Intune Company Portal website supports SaaS app lifecycle. So Microsoft Intune will enable IT pros to push SaaS apps to end user devices through the Company Portal website and support SaaS app lifecycle for devices both in. Great. I mean, this is a good one. Microsoft's realizing that everybody uses only Microsoft products. The ability to bring our other line of business applications in one common interface, I think, very, very useful. Okay, phish and spam 0 hour auto purge moved to quarantine. So the 0 hour auto purge is getting us some updates. Hopefully, again, a lot of threat protection coming on scenes. Also introducing the quarantine administrator role. So a new tenant role is coming in for users who can basically be a quarantine administrator. Allow them to provide access to all components of quarantine, and they'll be gradually rolling this out mid-October 2019. Rollout will be completed by the end of October. So that's going to be a pretty aggressive rollout capability. Workday connector for Microsoft Cloud App Security. So a new connector for Workday provides greater visibility and control via their Cloud Access Security Broker, giving you the ability to monitor activities. That is it. That is everything that we have today. So like I say, a bit of a shorter one today. A few updates there if you're interested in ones. We can see where Microsoft Focus is at the moment and what's being put out. And as usual, we will come back and we'll run this into time. It won't be on the Tuesday. We'll be back to the Friday, so a week Friday. and then hopefully a lot more information. So please do give me feedback. I'm always interested to know if this works for you, if it's of use. Please share out the link as well to anyone, any customers or partners that you think might find this useful. And feedback's great. I can tune it to make. I hope that's useful for you today. Please go and check our website, have a look at our Power Apps, and then get in touch. Let me know what you think. I hope that's useful. Thank you very much.